when we heard about you in Medina and you were teaching Medina, the Sheikh is the Sheikh first. He then moved to Medina. He got his bachelor degree, master degree, and PhD in Medina. What was amazing to all of us, and honestly, we took it as a role model, and wallahi, we were looking into it. And this is as a piece of advice that the importance of seeking knowledge to strengthen one's iman. You know, alhamdulillah, we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but most of the ayat that speaks about, you know, the ibadat is connected to knowledge. You know, Imam Bukhari rahimahullah titled Babul al-ilmi qabla al-qawli wal-amal. That chapter of, you know, knowledge before saying and actions. You Sheikhna, you became the first, or you were the first American student to teach in the Prophet's Masjid. Isn't that correct?
No.
Was
Yes.
that a goal? Were you aiming for that when you left to Medina? When you thought, was it your first visit to Medina first when you went? No, I mean,
yeah, that was my first. That was my first. Yeah, when I went for studies in 1996. Yeah, that was my first time there.
And your thought of Medina was, how was your feeling when you first got to Medina? Was it just, I'm finishing my bachelor degree, I'm coming back as an imam to the US, or you had the goals to stay in Medina?
No. But
how did it? I'm interested to know.
So at the time, I was a student at Temple University in Philadelphia.
Yes.
And I had a full scholarship at Temple University, academic scholarship. And my vision, honestly, in my mind, I was going to go over to Medina just to learn Arabic, and then I was coming back to America. Like I didn't think I was going to be there for the rest, you know, for as long as I did. I was there for half my life. That wasn't the goal. I just thought I was going to go, you know, study the Arabic language. I remember I talked to a brother who said, who told me, he said, I told him, I said, look, man, I just want to go learn Arabic. And then I deferred my scholarship at Temple University and, you know, told him I'd be back in a year. You know, I'm just taking some time off, want to learn another language and so forth. And the brother told me, he said, listen, he said, I went to Egypt in 1983 or something like that. He said, you know, I went just to learn the Arabic language as well. He said, but once you learn the Arabic language, you're going to want to learn Islam. Like he said, you know, you basically you'll see, like your thirst is going to grow. And I'll tell you something, subhanAllah. I remember when it hit me. I had just finished al-mustawa al-awwal, which is the first level of the Arabic language program. And so, you know, you get a little bit. You get a little bit, right? And as soon as we finished, like literally, as soon as we finished the test for the first level, Ramadan started. So we had off the whole month. Okay. And so, you know, I'm going to the Prophet's Masjid for Taraweeh. And Allahu Akbar. I'm saying, man, I'm starting to understand a little bit of what the Imam is reciting. So not everything, but it was enough to get me to start realizing, wait a minute, I got to learn some more. Because I want to understand the speech of Allah, right? Now you got to understand. And I know that this is just impossible, Sheikh Ammar, for somebody like you who was born and raised, you know, with the Arabic language. For the couple years that I was Muslim prior to that, and I'm praying Taraweeh, I don't understand a thing. You know, I'm standing there in Taraweeh, and you know, if the Imam's voice is nice, you know, I'm into it. Voice is not nice, I'm really not into it. But at the words, I don't understand anything. And to be honest with you, this was a side note. I started an institute here in Philadelphia, South Jersey, with a few of my other colleagues that were in Medina with me. And when we were in Medina, you know, our objective was simply, we said, look, man, we got to get the people to a point where they understand what the Imam is reciting in Taraweeh. we're going to go back, even though, you would think, man, you spent all that time, you're learning, aqeedah and PA. But that being said, I still know the value of having enough of the Arabic language to at least benefit something from what the Imam is reciting in Tarawih. And we want everybody to be able to have that feeling of benefiting something from what the Imam is reciting. So in any event, I remember that was one, I think that was a watershed moment for me. Like, wait a minute, I got to keep learning, because I really want to understand what's being said. And I started to taste some of the sweetness of, salat, just being able to learning some of that classical Arabic. And then another thing that happened was, so this was 96 when I went to Medina, and we finished that semester in December of 1996. And then right after that was Ramadan. Okay, fast forward to April, which was Hajj time. And I was going with an American group to Hajj, right? And then Mina burnt down to the ground. That was the year of the fire.
The fire, yeah.
Okay, so that was before. Mina right now is all these white tents, right? The white is supposed to be fire repellent. What do they call that? I think that's, I forget what the word is. Anyway, you get the idea. Yeah.
No.
In other words, it's supposed to be the type of material that doesn't burn. No. Well, back in 96, 97, all the tents were this very colorful orange and blue, and it was cloth. Oh. So when the fire came, I remember it like it was yesterday. SubhanAllah, like my body was shaking for about 24 hours uncontrollably inside, because basically you thought you were going to die. Like literally you thought you were going to die, and people did die. And the people running behind you, everybody's going in a certain direction, and people saying la ilaha illallah, like it's the last time. It's literally like it's the last thing they're going to say. And we all were in that predicament. In any event, what happened was our group split up, and so what the group that I was left with, I was the only one that had a little bit of Arabic, right? So I had been studying at this point 6 months or whatever like that. And we got to get from Mina to Arafah. And back then, nobody in Saudi is speaking English. Not like it is today when everybody got a little bit of broken English or whatever. But it was just like, in order to get from place to place, somebody had to speak some Arabic. And so it forced me to use the little bit of Arabic that I had. But that was important because it broke some of those psychological barriers that you have there, thinking like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to speak and all that. No, you had to speak. You were put in a position where you were forced. So I think at that point as well, I think that was an encouragement to say, wait a minute, you can do this. This is something that inshallah you can become proficient in. And I remember, and that summer I came back, 97, I came back to the States, and I don't think I was back for 2 or 3 weeks. I actually remember the moment when I was in the car with my wife, and I just turned to her. She looked at me and was like, you thinking what I'm thinking? It's time to get out of here. Like 3 weeks. I mean, you look at it, 9-10 months, we hear that van 5 times a day, 6 times a day, and you're living a life that's just is based on deen, is based on preparing for the hereafter. It's based on, it gave, and you come back to the States, you're not hearing any of then things are just different, dunya everywhere. I mean, and then it was just like, okay, now I want to dedicate my life to this, and I think so. When I went over, believe me, I didn't have the intention of staying that long. And also, when I had gotten to Medina, I was told by, a number of brothers that, just achieving a bachelor's degree is like major, because most of the brothers didn't even graduate, at that point.
They came back.
Man, listen, the sheikhs of the Americans, when I got there, the sheikhs were in their first year of kulliyah, their first year of college. Those were like the big guys.
Hmm.
You know, things have changed now, but yeah, subhanAllah, that's what it was like then, man.